guys, so Kugisaki, Jogo, and Saki, SSR variants of course, all got their SP potential, making them potentially broken. Now if you guys don't know, SP potential really just kind of brings back the old characters. So like for example, Rin Itadori, where the game is at right now, if it wasn't for the SP potential, that man would be around about the A rank region of tier list, of course. With his SP potential, he's one of the best green taijutsu attackers that you can get in the game, right? So the SP, and same goes for like how it elevates Fushiguro, of course. Yellow Kugisaki, green Nanami is back in action. So the SP potential really does kind of save some of these old units of actually being usable again, viable and whatnot. Not to say that they're not completely usable, it's just with where the game is at, power scaling, content releasing, things are getting more difficult. You know, you can't just leave behind the OGs that started it all. Well, there you go, put it like that. So Kugisaki, she came out near again at the very beginning. I mean, for global it might be somewhat kind of recent since how quick you're going out, but for JP it's been a minute. It's been a minute since the red Kugisaki has been around, especially with where red DPS is at right now, right, with Toji, Yuta, recently May of course. So yeah, Kugisaki is not exactly on that list right now, and unfortunately she has dropped really. Like I think right now she's looking around about to be like A rank region of like tier list in terms of her DPS potential damage. The thing about this Kugisaki is that she is all about applying that nail count to then being able to do like a double nuke essentially, which is pretty nice. I'll have to give her that. But just a quick little reminder on what we're looking at here. I'll have to also do her post adjustments. So her characteristic has moved down to a skill, which we'll get into. So pretty much we are going to be using a maxed out Kugisaki, FYI. Alright, so pretty much first skill, 135 on the Jujutsu damage. You will be able to apply 3 nail counts for 3 turns, and the last bit of it is actually not too bad because you're reducing the enemy's Jujutsu damage by 22%. At first, initially looking at this, I'm just like, how's that going to help us out? And then being in situations where the enemy is heavily reliant on Jujutsu damage, I'm just like, okay, wait, this is actually really solid to have. So I actually am a fan of this. Unfortunately, you can't stack it, which is trash, but it is what it is. Heading over to the second skill, it's AoE. You can apply 1 nail count for 7 turns, and then this also increases the enemy's Jujutsu damage received by 14.9%. Realistically, it is going to be the second skill and the ultimate that you want to pile on, since that is the longest amount of nail count debuff that you can apply. And then once you apply like 4 to 5, you then want to stack up and apply 2 of the first skill, so that way you can get at least a bare minimum of 6 nail counts. So that's how you're going to have to maximize your nail count play. Unless you desperately need to reduce the enemy's Jujutsu damage, then you'll have to rely on the first skill. But second skill and ultimate is where you would apply most of the nail count, then to end it off you apply the first skill. That then leads into the third skill, which is like a mini ultimate, or maybe some would say even as an ultimate. So with this one, again you're doing 217. The higher the nail count, the more damage, so you can cap it at 942 with 11 nail count, that is. Deals at 376 range Jujutsu damage to enemies with nail count, and then once that is done it removes all nail count. With the SP potential, keep in mind on base this was at 50 cost. It has changed now completely. So with the SP potential, if the enemy has 1 to 4 nail counts, you can activate it for a 25 cost. 4 to 9 nail count, you can activate it for a 40 cost, and if you've got 10 or more, which is 10 to 11 basically, then you'll do the max and it will cost you 50, but that you'll get the max damage off. Okay, cannot use the skill without nail count. That's kind of self-explanatory. So it increases your own damage dealt by 217. Again, the higher the nail count, the better the damage boost. 942 stays the same. You're increasing your ultimate skill charging rate by 15%. So that's an additional bonus right there. Very nice. Keep in mind with the ultimate, that nail count that you can apply through the ultimate stays on for 8 turns. So pretty solid. Deals 400% range Jujutsu damage to enemies with nail count. So that is, yep, that's like 50% more. And then increases enemy Jujutsu received by 12% for 3 turns. Again, the higher the enemy's nail count, the greater the boost effect, so 25% in total with a minimum of 6 nail counts. And again, this is effective for red type attacks, of course. So with this SP potential, they've just basically pushed more for the, as I like to say, the double nuking. And then the ultimate itself, okay, the things hasn't changed, that's fine. So the ultimate, yeah, so you're doing 600% on Taijutsu, 770 on Jujutsu, and then this will apply 1 nail count for 8 turns. So this is why I say the ultimate and the second skill, you go back and forth in terms of applying the nail count, and then once you're ready to go in with the third skill, then you apply the first skill. So yeah, the ultimate does pack a punch, so that's why I say ultimate, third skill, double nuke. And then combination, you get a Jujutsu damage increase of 7.5, and then of course fill the other allies' ultimate skill gauge by 120. And then when it comes to the passive, when Black Flash is performed, increases on Jujutsu damage by 45% for 6 turns and recovers cursed energy by 15. The SP potential on this, you get a Jujutsu damage increase of 45% for 8 turns, so you get an extra 2 turns. And on top of that, you get a damage dealt increase of 25% for 8 turns also, and then you get your cursed energy recovery by 15. So more damage bonus being applied on that part. So pretty much just furthermore supporting the Kugisaki to do more. I really have to give it to the developers, because in my personal opinion, these SP potential gimmicks, of course, are just an absolute godsend. This Kugisaki with the SP potential, if you are in need of a red attacker, again, for global, this is all upcoming things. You guys can take note on which character that you want to focus on with SP potential. Obviously, you'll have your initial first wave of characters, and for that, I would say Itadori, Nanami. When it comes to green typing, that's kind of what you're going to be catering to. Kugisaki, yellow one, you can kind of cater to that. Of course, for Fushikoda, for blue typing, you can also kind of look into that. In terms of the second wave, I don't know if I want to even care about Saki. I mean, definitely going to be looking into Jogo, because I kind of want to see how he's looking as a free-to-play character. But this Kugisaki, there is a lot of options now, because she's definitely worthy. Because obviously you got Mei, you've got Yuta, you've got Toji, and now you've got this Kugisaki. She is a phenomenal character, and with how they've done her SP potential. I think with this run that I did, unfortunately I didn't have her passive popped off, which is unfortunate, but the base damage that she is applying is actually extremely really solid. I've managed to see with typic advantage, so that was 2.8, which I double nuke, by the way. This is, I stated this before when she initially released from global, when I did my initial showcase, but this is a double nuke Kugisaki, FYI. But again, just the basis, you apply the nail count. If you can cap at 11, fantastic, get the max damage going, of course, but she will cook. She will cook. Now with this SP potential and being able to get an extra like damage out increase and whatnot from obviously from passive, but obviously now the third skill itself will give you that slight little damage boost. And with where the red team is at as a whole, with the support of Gojo, Unamaki and whatnot and other characters, you really can cook a storm with this Kugisaki. Keep in mind, we have game modes that have longevity with this Kugisaki. If you have turns at your disposal that are long fights, yeah, no, definitely this is a character to take. I mean, again, keep in mind, if the enemy's guard is not up, then just bear that in mind. If the enemy does have a little bit of a guard up, you can thankfully still apply the nail count, but obviously you won't be benefiting from the additional debuffs that play for her to do more damage, of course. But even without that, she's still doing decent damage. I think even with an enemy's guard up, you can still achieve an easy 2 mil here. It's pretty ridiculous, of course. But coming back to the Kugisaki with type advantage on hand, since I don't have the luxury right now, I've seen her drop 13 mil, 9 mil, lowballing 7 mil around there. It's pretty ridiculous, especially with where the red typing's at right now, especially with the support units that we have at play. This Kugisaki definitely is in the higher end tier of red DPS. So if that is something that you guys are requiring and kind of need, and need of a unit that has longevity, in terms of that build up to do a disgusting amount of damage, of course, then I mean, even in a short mind of having her, because again, I think one of the biggest change on the SP potential is making it so that her third skill is usable super quick. Because you've got to keep in mind, before nail counts had to be at the ready, and it was a cost of 50 energy. Whereas now, even if you have 1 to 4, it's only going to cost you 25, so half of it. So they've, yeah, the third skill on the SP potential is, in my eyes, the #1 go-to for the Kugisaki, and then after that you can then go ahead and SP potential her passive, of course, but that third skill is definitely the priority, of course. But I think it's safe to say that this is definitely, again, with where, nah, I would say Kugisaki might be first on the list, to be fair, in terms of needing that red DPS. I haven't tested out Jogo, but I have been hearing some good things about him, so I'm actually eager to try him out. But I do have this Kugisaki on my account. She's at level 100, so I will probably put some time into her. And then I think with the game mode, I forgot what it's called, but you know, you got those long 17 turns to do what you got to do. I think that's going to be more than enough to have that consistency, because you got to keep in mind that ultimate is kind of like a third skill, which is weird to say, but that's kind of how we look at this Kugisaki right now. That her ultimate supports the third skill, so her third skill is kind of like the ultimate, but it's like a double up nuking, because you do the third skill, sorry, you do the ultimate that does damage, like a serious amount of damage. Again, if you want to cater to enemies that can drop the enemy's Jujutsu and Taijutsu, that's picture perfect, because then of course you can maximize the damage output on that skill, and then that leads into the third skill, because technically speaking, the ultimate will apply a 1 nail count for 8 turns, so you kind of want to do that, so that way you can maximize by doing the first skill to apply the minimum 6 nail counts, to then lead into the third skill, and the third skill will by far do the most damage. Again, that's where you can drop 5+ mil damage output from her, so 1.9 right there, beautiful, from that third skill. Yeah, definitely a character that is not to be slept on, something that even global players can look into if you are in need of red DPS. I mean, it is a bit of a wait. I don't know if they are going to make the initial rounds of SP potential unlocks at the very beginning when it's available in global, which I think should be the case, so that way things can be caught up a lot quicker. But if they are going to be doing it in waves, then obviously she'll be on the wave 2 mark of things. But pretty much how the SP potential shocked the green Itadori, Nanami and whatnot, how much it brought those characters back, it's kind of like in the same premise of that for this red Kugisaki. So yeah, these SP potentials are really elevating these OG characters and putting them back in the line of being like, they're back, we can use them, and get their SP potential unlocked. Skill 3 will be the one that you want to cater to, and then you can do the passives after. But that is, yeah, in terms of red DPS, if that's something that you want, and you want that double nuke, get those nail counts flowing, then Kugisaki, she's keeping that theme, she's keeping the nuking, she's back in action. And if anything, I'm eager to see on what the Shibuya Kugisaki will be doing, but the red Kugisaki double nuker, she's back.